Guys, the trailer for Godzilla Legacy has finally dropped, and very interesting. At the beginning, you do have like a little teaser or reference to the Godzilla King of the Monsters teaser trailer and trailer that we got back in the day. Now, very interesting. This trailer or this series is going to take place in the past and in the present, telling the story of Godzilla 2014 from a different point of view, through the eyes of different characters that are introduced. Now, in this scene, if you look very closely, it's the scene from Godzilla 2014 where you see Godzilla popping out of the sea. From a very different point of view, this scene is almost exactly like the one at the beginning of Godzilla 2014. You guys can see in the background the dorsal plates. Now, again, you see the whole city destroyed, the aftermath of the events from Godzilla 2014. Now, if you look at this city in the background, it just seems like there is foliage, like tree foliage. It's been some time. I'm not sure if it's been months or years. This could be the effects from the kaiju, aka the monsters, in the novels. If you read this specific section, it mentions how monsters, when they interact with the environment like cities and whatsoever, right? They live behind foliage like trees. They seem to grow with nature. So this could be the after effects of Godzilla and Mutos, or perhaps other monsters. Moving on, the first monster that we see, a lot of people were confusing it with the flying Mutos that we saw in the comic books. I believe this is not the same monster. I have the figure and they look very different. If you look at this monster, it seems to have wings, sort of like a bad bird type. It has legs. That's something that the Mutos didn't have in the comic books. It's also blue. This one is more like a realistic type of tone. It has a little bit of white, brownish, and black. So I don't think it's the same monster as the comic books, aka the Mutos that we saw back in the day. I believe this is something new. I'm not gonna lie, this person right here looks like a younger version of Zarazawa. I'm not sure if that is, or maybe someone close to him. Now, moving forward, this sign of Godzilla, right? The evacuation route and all that. There's been a lot of talks how this is similar to 2014, but a little bit different. The dorsal plates look different. There's been a lot of talks that Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla 2019, 2021 is going to change for Godzilla X Kong. This also means humans are acknowledging kaiju like Godzilla, that they are among us. So I'm assuming this is probably taking a few months or years after the events of 2014. And again, this feels like we're going to see a lot of the past, present, and future. Maybe Skull Island, and that's a possibility. I'll talk about it later on. This shot of Godzilla rising from the water of the Pacific is very beautiful around the test site that they were going to detonate the nuke. This is actually a different point of view. This is from the point of view of Godzilla rising. This shot is exactly the same shot that we see in the opening where they are trying to nuke, aka kill Godzilla with the nuclear explosion. If you look at the background, you can see the foliage of the beach, and you actually see like a little tower where the nuke was set up. That's the exact same nuke that we see in the opening for 2014 with the cross of Godzilla, aka they were trying to kill Godzilla, but this is from his point of view. This reminds me a lot of the Godzilla vs. Kong, where you see Godzilla rising from the water. You see his dorsal plates. Here it looks very beautiful. You see the classic Godzilla 2014 dorsal plates, the rock type of texture, very beautiful. And honestly, they look much bigger, and I just wish they would have kept the 2014 design. It was nearly perfect. The only thing missing was making the dorsal plates bigger. But you just can't deny this shot looks beautiful. It's the money shot out of this trailer, probably seeing Godzilla rising from the ocean, and this matches the scene where you see the explosion, or if you see the extended version from Godzilla 2014, it's the same shot. And I have to say that the visuals for this series is looking pretty good, very impressive. Compared to other series, you can tell that they're putting the budget where it has to go to the CGI, the visual effects, the background, very good. The next image appears to be this crab-like, spider-like. I believe it's not the one from Godzilla King of the Monsters. It looks different. This almost seems to be a mixture of both. The one that we saw in King of the Monsters was more like a spider, if I remember correctly. But again, personally to me, from what I can tell analyzing this trailer, all the new creatures that we have seen are totally new. They are not from King of the Monsters, but again, from my understanding, this series is going to include new monsters and all the monsters that we've seen from 2014 and beyond. Look at the background. I mentioned Skull Island. This looks very similar to Skull Island to me. It's either Skull Island or the Hollow Earth. The next shot seems like a flashback, so I'm sure we're going to revisit Skull Island in new scenes or flashbacks. Now this one seems like the battleship or destroyer that we saw in Skull Island that was just stuck there in the foliage in the background. It could be that, or this could be totally different. But this creature right here, I'm sure you're thinking that so far we've seen 3 new creatures. But that's not the case. This creature is actually the same creature that we first got to see in this trailer. It's the same creature that flies by above the trees. You're probably thinking to yourself, how do I know it's the exact same one? If you pause the image, you can see to the left side there seems to be some wing. That wing looks exactly like the one shown above when it was flying. You see like some feathers type of bat wings. The texture is almost identical. It has black skin. The chest seems to have that brownish red, very similar, and it has like claws, almost similar to Rodan. I get the feeling that this could be a new mixture of a bat slash bird. The beak, he does have a beak and a mouth. It's sort of weird. This is totally a new monster that we have never seen in the Monsterverse, and that's really neat to see, because the director did confirm a few weeks ago or a few days ago that he's going to introduce new monsters, returning monsters that we've seen throughout the Monsterverse. By the looks of it, it seems to be destroying that battleship or some type of big structure. This is definitely Skull Island or the Hollow Earth. It has to be one of those. You can see that there's like some missiles to the side. Let's talk about the last shot. This is revisiting the 2014 events. This is exactly where Godzilla gets attacked by missiles, destroyers, cruisers. It's the exact moment where he just collides through the bridge, breaking it, and it's very impressive. But this is a different point of view that we're getting. This is from the point of view of a different family. So it's the exact same events, but just from different angles, from different eyes, a different point of view, and it looks very impressive. I have to say, Godzilla 2014 right here looks way too realistic. It almost looks like a real prop, almost as if they made a gigantic head of Godzilla 2014 or body, because I gotta say, the skin texture, the water, everything, the teeth look really impressive. If this is the type of quality we're going to be seeing in the series, I give props to the director, to everybody who's been putting a lot of effort into this. It looks very impressive. The explosions look very great. And again, this is a very iconic scene for 2014. The way we saw his tail, the way he was swimming through the destroyers, very iconic. And I hope they really captured a better 2014 version of that scene, just make it more iconic with all that technology that we have nowadays. Now, giving you guys my thoughts overall with this trailer, it's an excellent trailer, giving me vibes that more than anything, compared to Godzilla -1, completely different tones between both films. Well, one of them is a film, one of them is a series, keep that in mind, but still, this is giving me vibes that we're going to learn a lot of the mysteries that we've been asking for. Perhaps with monsters, with declassified information about them, things that we really didn't know, like specific stuff, and new monsters that have yet to be discovered. Keep in mind that for Godzilla's King of the Monsters, there was a lot of monsters that were located throughout the world that we never got to see, like Leviathan, very iconic monsters. So perhaps this is an opportunity for us to see very iconic monsters like the Prime Mutos from Godzilla King of the Monsters and beyond. My expectations for this series is to hopefully learn more about Godzilla and other monsters that we have been asking for such a long time. It's about time that we take a closer look at the Hollow Earth and other places that have yet to be discovered. History of Ghidorah. I'm also hoping for a great storytelling behind the scenes with character developing in the background. Also very iconic battles, great explosions. I want the military to be involved. A great example of this is Gamma Rebirth. I've seen that yesterday and it was beyond amazing. I have to say that I'm very impressed with what Gamera was able to do compared to the series of Kong. It's a night and day difference. To me, Gamera is a true kaiju series and anime, something that a fan has been wanting to see. You can truly feel the big size of Gamera and all those monsters. The characters are interesting, so I'm hoping for something very similar in a way with Godzilla and all the characters, that we get to feel for them. We get to see their backstories and why we should care for the new characters, why it's important to revisit the past, present, and future, why we're following Godzilla and other creatures, and unanswered questions between the events of Kong all the way to Godzilla 2021 and beyond. The ending for me, it would be perfect, and I'm sure most of us can agree, if this series ends on a cliffhanger, setting it up for Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire. That would be phenomenal. If somehow there's like a teaser happening where they mention there's something else in Hollow Earth, that there's creatures that we have yet to discover and seen from the past. That would be such an amazing connection between past, present, and future, setting it up for Godzilla x Kong. That's my expectations. I really hope this isn't bad, because Godzilla holds a special place for everybody, right? And I really hope they don't go the same direction that they took for this series for Skull Island. You guys know that with all due to respect, I did not enjoy that anime at all. I thought it was very boring. The characters were not interesting. The fights were okay from time to time, but I really hope they don't do anything like that. I hope that they do something more like Gamma Rebirth. That's what I was comparing both of them. And if you guys want to see my thoughts and my reaction to Gamma Rebirth, because I absolutely adore that anime. Very excellent with animation, quality, devastation, size, storytelling, and it's a little bit of everything. I gotta love it, honestly. So my expectations are something like that in their own way. And I'm not expecting like something compared to Godzilla 2014 or Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong. Obviously, the budgets are different. Keep in mind, this is a series, not a film, not a movie, not anything expensive, but it should be okay, you know? So hopefully we get an excellent series. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I missed anything. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.